With the drivers currently lining up on the grid, it's almost time to get today's race event underway. We're here on the winding streets of Baku. Baku's city circuit then. It's an unpredictable 3.7-mile track around the streets of the Azerbaijan capital. 20 turns for our drivers to navigate today, including the infamous Turn 8, one of the tightest and most challenging corners of the season.
For the NOMEX Racing Thursday division here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, guys, it's Liam there is going to be starting on pole. Of course, Smith starting just alongside him there here in second. Aiden starting third. SpongeBob will be starting fourth. Kisiek there fifth. Kavalin sixth. Naismith in seventh. Weston eighth. Phyology in ninth. And Ice One, of course, in the Haas. Didn't get to get a lap time in the session, but we'll be starting 10th on the grid here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're heading straight into the race session now. Alright guys, here we go, the start of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix here in NOMEX Racing Thursday division as Liam and Smith get started. Who gets a better run down into turn 1 though? Looks like Smith is holding off that lead so far as he gets ahead of Liam. Gets through into turn 1, leads the race so far. SpongeBob there running as position up as well in third. Liam is down one position. Can he gain it back as we go on through in this race? We'll see what's going to happen. So far so good from the start. I don't think we've lost any drivers as yet. We got started 19. There's a bit of commotion going on at the back of the grid there, so there might be a bit of upset. Yeah, we do have some incidents happening, both with Cape Meister and Ice One there. There's Aston Martin involved in that there as well. So that's going to be possibly some pit stops happening on the opening lap. We got, I think, a full safety car here for what's happened there, but there's going to be a lot of debris on track. We got the triple with yellows right about now, and it's like it is a full safety car on the opening lap here of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix with NOMEX Racing. Unfortunate for that start for a few drivers down in the back of the grid. As you can see how many positions was lost there by Aiden. 7 positions down from where he started. He's now behind his teammate and running. Face Hauser, Ice One, Govey, Cape Meister, all losing positions on the opening lap of this Grand Prix at the moment. Smith, of course, biggest advantage is he gets up into the lead of the race, only gaining 1 position, but still he's up into the lead. Will definitely try to hold out through the entire session if he can. Liam there second on the grid at the moment. He started, of course, in P1. Let's see if he can change things as we get further on in the session. Of course, there's our tires once again, guys. If you do want to have back a quick look at that with the strategy that we got started race, we had 2 drivers started on the soft tires, the rest of the grid were on the mediums, and let's see how that strategy plays into this race here as we get further on into the session. Hopefully it's going to be a dry session all the way through. I think hoping for the drivers. We did have a bit of rain there in qualifying too, so and dried off over as soon as we got started in qualifying 3, so it did make things quite a bit interesting as well for that. We're still on the opening lap here. Going to get into lap 2 pretty short and then follow on behind the safety car, of course, for maybe a lap or 2 laps or 3 laps, depending on how long it actually takes to get all those debris cleared off the track here. So just on how fast the marshals can work to get that all sorted. We do have a few pit stops I think happening, or I think you just see it into the pits there at the moment. Let's see how well that works for him, and of course he's going to make a quick change. I think he started, was one of the drivers who started on the sauce. We have to bring that back online to have a quick look if we can. Just follow him in the pit lane, see what the change was with him there as he gets back out onto the medium right now. So definitely he was on the sauce for one of the drivers that got started on them. Back out on track right now. Looks like West gained a penalty here on the opening lap of this race. Not a good sign at the moment as we get behind the Aston Martin safety car on lap 1. So yeah, pretty interesting opening lap here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix with Thursday division NOMEX Racing. Opening lap, few incidents on turn 1 down in the back of the grid. I think that was there. Well, midfield to the back of the grid with a few drivers involved in that. I think the stewards are going to have to get involved and possibly see what happened with the footage coming from the drivers themselves, and just see if anyone was at fault with that there. Because definitely was some contact between a few cars and probably with the barriers there as well. As we know, the Baku City circuit very, very narrow with the track as it is here. We got barriers on both sides very close off, so they got to be careful not to make any mistakes. And as you mentioned early on, it is such a short run down into turn 1 from the starting grid, so these drivers have to be so careful hitting a wrong turn, especially the midfield down to the back of the grid. The front of the grid, not so much. They quite easily can get through without any damage. That Phyology is out of the session, unfortunately. I'm not sure what's happened to him, but he's definitely out. He might have had an incident on track here. I think 2 other drivers involved here got Mini Plants and Gopia out as well. So what's happened on track because we got a Mercedes spun wrong on the wrong side, and I think it's lost the front wing. Some definitely some serious damage there on that car as well. So I'm not sure what happened, but we've lost 2 drivers during the safety car itself. So not making things too interesting for them. That's what, of course, no points awarded for the session there. Being now going to be finishing this race. So from 19 drivers starting in lap 1, we're only in lap 2 under a safety car. We're already down to 16 drivers going to be remaining in this race session. Smith, of course, still leading the race. He started second, Liam down to second. He started in first. SpongeBob running third. Now Cavan in fourth, Naismith in fifth, Lancer 6th, West in 7th, Aiden 8th, and Dodger in 9th at the moment. Apologies about that disruption there, guys. So you're back on again as we're currently on lap 3. Of course, still under the safety car and running here. 1 second, just trying to make sure we are good on our streams end. Yeah, so we are good so far. Everything running up to what it should be. So as we have everyone falling under behind the safety car, of course, as soon as we get into sector 3, we will be informed by race control to see if we're going to have the safety car go in, and we're about to get back racing. They should have had that debris cleared off by now, I would assume. That was a pretty good view of everyone coming through into castle section there. Let's see what's going to happen. So as you said, guys, we are down to 16 drivers after the incident on lap 1. We lost a few drivers there as our safety car came out on track when we started 19 down to 16. It still was a pretty interesting start out front there, especially for Smith to gain the lead. Liam, of course, has a pretty interesting job now to do, as he's going to follow on behind that McLaren and try to catch up and get past him. We'll see what's going to happen in that case. So it's going to be a battle between an Aston Martin and a McLaren for that lead. And of course, we do have SpongeBob there in the Alfa Romeo just behind them. Cavalli behind that, Naismith, some really good drivers, Lancer, West, Aiden, all coming behind. So of course everyone close off right now as the safety car is now going to go back into the pit lane, and we are going to get back racing. And looks like West has a drive-through penalty. Unfortunate for that, because he cannot serve the drive-through penalty whilst under the safety car. He can only serve that drive-through penalty once the safety car period ends, and he has, of course, a 3-lap window to do that, which definitely affects your race, because you gotta just watch. We're finishing with a safety car. Everyone's gap is just a 10 to 2 tenths or 3 tenths off each other. You're gonna lose so much positions by taking a drive-through penalty at this point. So let's see what's going to happen as we get back racing. Smith is already on the go here as he gets across the line, getting through into turn. It's a 1.4 second gap. SpongeBob trying to go side by side with Liam here, and of course trying to take it on the inside. A bit of contact though with Cavalli behind there in the Williams as he tries to keep it ahead. We got the Alpine of Naismith coming behind that. Lancer trying to follow on through. It's quite a bit of a battle going on to get in front here. We got Smith, of course, getting away with the lead very, very well, as the rest of the cars fighting for positions here from second onwards. So it's a 2.2 second gap now towards Smith out front. Liam trying to hold off SpongeBob. It's only a 2:10 gap. So close is where we have Cavalli, Naismith, and Lancer, as we said, as well behind, as they're all going to follow on through. We got Aiden following along the order. Something's happened to the next Mercedes here. One Mercedes already out of the session, and it doesn't look like it's any good news for Aiden. He's already down way down at the back of the grid. Not sure what happened as yet. We'll have maybe a look at that in just a bit there. So you guys still following on with this annoyance. Let's go with Naismith in the Alpine as he's so close behind Cavalli here, really chasing after him. The gap is still within a second. Now starting to go over a second between Liam and SpongeBob. This, of course, is for second place in this race. Smith and the McLaren leading so much well out front. And there's such a battle going on here. Just out in the front of the grid, I would say. Or call it still. Midfield seems to have some close gaps as well. We're going to have a look at them in just a bit. But that Alpine definitely looking to get an overtake on the Williams of Cavalli Cavalli in front of him. The next Williams behind of him though. So he's splitting the Williams at the moment. Let's see what's gonna happen. Doesn't look like Lancer is able to keep too much. Oh, we got a bit of an incident there. That's Naismith out of the session, unfortunately. I think he might have lost the rear of the car there. Unfortunately for that, that happened so quickly on that high speed section there in sector 3. So that's another driver out. We might be looking at another safety car there, because that of course is going to be blocked off on the track there. So yeah, it is another full safety car here on lap 5 of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Unfortunate for Naismith. He was doing so well in the session, keeping that car going on so well, but he is now out of this race. I'm going to go back out in front, follow on with our whistler here. Smith there at the moment in the McLaren. Of course, he might not be as happy about this because gaps are going to start to close off from him. Whereas, of course, I think he took his drive-through penalty already because he's now down to 12th on the grid as we have there. Let's see. We already got Kakut, Hess, and Aiden into the pits. Of course, Aiden had an incident there. Something happened. He might have just been into the wall, maybe lost a front wing on the car, but something did happen. He fell way down the order, all the way down to 15th on the grid. We started with 19. We're now down to 15th remaining. 4 drivers out of this session. Phyology, Mini Plats, and Goofy went out on the opening lap of the race there under that safety car, and then of course got just lost Naismith here on this current safety car, second safety car here of the session that we're currently having. So Smith leads out front, SpongeBob running in second, Lancer now up to third, Kisiek in fourth, Dodger running fifth at the moment, Titchman in sixth, Ice One running 7, Fake South are currently running in 8, Cape Meister in 9, Liam in 10, Caval in 11th, West in 12th, Kirkwood in 13, Hess in 14, Aiden Bell there in 15th on the grid. Let's have a quick look at a few things here. Position changes as we have them. Titchman gaining the most so far in this race. It's a 13 position gain for him, of course. Not doing too bad with that there. Let's have a look at stops here right now. Pit stops as I have it. We can see quite a few drivers, most of the drivers out front on the grid have not done their pit stops as yet. West, of course, didn't get to do a pit stop. He's down at the back of the grid, of course, because he had to do a drive-through for a drive-through penalty that he had. Unfortunate for that, so that's what it is there right about now. Do we currently have any penalties on track? No penalties at the moment that we know of. So we're going to continue on with things as they are here right now. We're behind the safety car with, there we go. So now we're going to go behind the safety car here on lap 6 with the McLaren following on behind a bit. We're looking at a possible restart maybe into lap 8 of this Grand Prix. Of course, remember again guys, it is only a 26 lap race around the Baku city circuit here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. So far has gone quite interestingly well, I would say, with the way things are shaping up. We still got 15 drivers here in this race session to finish it off. Let's see how much drivers are going to make it across the line on lap 26 to finish this Grand Prix. But so far so good as we have it. Once again guys, welcome again to everyone joining us here live on the stream. If you're watching on the video here on YouTube after we process it, please make sure you guys leave a like on there, and of course make sure you guys follow us here on Twitch where we do these streams live now. And yeah, just a bit of a change in the order in which we do things. Schedule being posted by Netbot there in the chat as well when we usually stream, so do look forward to that. Still looking pretty dry here. I don't think we're gonna have any rain in this session, so it should be a good news for most of the drivers on through with that. Although some of the drivers are really good in the rain, they might be actually hoping for it, but see what's gonna happen. So it's still under safety car to get on through. We should possibly be going one more lap after this lap completes. We'll see what the case is gonna be as we're about to get into sector 3 pretty soon. So we have that notification from race control as to whether we're about to get back racing or not. So for the moment though, let's see what's going to happen as we get across that sector line. Alright, there we go. So doesn't look like we're going to get back racing on this lap here. We definitely have to go one more lap under the safety car. That's going to put us into lap 7, which should have the race restarted going into lap 8. Just hoping that that is going to be the case, of course. As you can see, the gaps there starting to close off very quickly between the drivers there. Of course, on the safety car does happen. A few drivers taking their stops as well. Most of the drivers up front we know did not take a pit stop though. I think they're just waiting for a few more laps done on those tires, because remember we did have majority of the grid start on the medium tires, whereas I think it was just 2 drivers that started on the softs. Looks like West actually prefers a little bit of rain in the session. This is best for him. Either way, guys, we're getting through sector 2 right about now, currently on lap 7. We should be getting back to racing on the next lap here. That incident with Naismith's Alpine should be cleared up by now. Such a fast-paced accident. I think everything should be fine with that though, as everything should have been cleared off. We're gonna just wait for the drivers to get across that sector 3 line there on track, so we should have a notification from race control that we are about to get back racing here. Of course, still following on with Smith there in the McLaren, leading the grid at the moment under the safety car. Has the most advantage to get away, and he does get away pretty well, as we saw in the previous safety car restart against the rest of the grid there. So let's see how that's going to work for him, as we should have that safety car start to pull away. Let's see. I haven't seen the notification come up on screen there as yet. So are we going another lap on the safety car? I was hoping we wouldn't, but it does seem like it's going to be that case there where, yep, we are going to go one more lap under the safety car here. Yep, definitely one more lap to go under the safety car here. That's going to put us back into racing into lap 9. Not even at the halfway point in this race yet, guys. So yeah, we still got quite a way more to go. Already on our second safety car of the session. Unfortunate for the drivers we've lost, but we still got majority of the grid in here. We're definitely expecting a great race session going all the way through. Let's see how the gaps have now closed back in. So we just have these guys finish off this lap. We should get back racing. Okay, so there we have it. Notification from race control. We are about to get back racing here, going into the next lap. As you can see, the safety car veering off into the distance, and of course we got the McLaren slowing down the grid right about now. A lot of weaving going on track. They're really trying to get these tires up to temperature to get back racing here. Of course, the McLaren of Smith is going to control the grid until he goes, and of course with no overtaking until they get across the start-finish line there. Or that will result in a penalty. Alright, so I think they're already back going here again, as the McLaren is going to try to get away out in front. He's already back on it. Let's go to SpongeBob and Lancer here, see what's happening down in the back there. It looks like Kisiak and Dodger are having a pretty close battle going through. Dodger's up into third. We got that's Lancer spun around there. Bit of incident down in the back of the track there. A lot of debris flying around as well. So definitely some incidents worth noting at this point. Quite a few cars with damage, I assume, down in the back of the grid at the moment. as Kisiek is now down into 6th. Might have been involved in that there as well. Tishman is up into 4th, so a bit of a change for the grid orders. Of course, Smith still leads the Grand Prix at the moment. Sponsor running 2nd, Dodger running 3rd, and of course being chased by Tishman there, so a bit of a close gap on him and the Red Bull. Let's see how this battle progresses on through. Got Cape Meister running 5th at the moment, 2.5 seconds behind this, so he's lost a bit of time to catching up to them. Kisiek 4 tenths behind, Liam another 6 tenths behind. As you can see, guys, the track is extremely narrow. They really got to be careful on where they choose to get an overtake down here. But the Red Bull definitely close enough to actually attempt an overtake at this point. Is he going to save it for the start-finish straight into turn 1 though, or is he going to try it down somewhere in sector 3? Because he definitely could get this done in sector 3 before even getting to turn 1. Oh, has a bit of a slip there as he gets off the exit of that turn. Cape Meister has retired from the session. What's happened to his car? So we can have a look. What's happening to Cape Meister here, and that Ferrari is into the barriers there. Definitely looking at safety car number 3 here as you get on through this, and that of course is safety car number 3. Looks like the Six also have some damage as well, and 5-second penalty for him for collision with Ice 1. So we're losing drivers on this race session right now. Let's have a look what's happening out front. Race leader has pitted. He is into the pits, getting back out right now. What tire did he go on to? He's went up to the soft tires here. So a bit of a change of strategy. Might be a medium soft strategy that he's trying to run here for the race session. Let's see if that's going to be the case or not. Out in front right now, we got a Red Bull of Tishman leading the Grand Prix. Behind the safety car, of course, Liam and Yas Martin running 2nd. Smith, they're back out into 3rd now as he was previously leading this race before that safety car happened. SpongeBob running 4th. Aiden now currently 5th with a penalty. Dodger in 6th with a penalty. Kisiek in the pits, possibly getting back out right now. So Kirkut is going to get out behind of him. So just a bit of a change in the order of the grid there. Under this safety car, we've lost a few drivers. Fake Saucer is out, Cave Meister is out. That's another 2 drivers lost from this race. We got now down to 13 drivers here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We're on lap 10 of 26. We still have not approached the halfway point of this race. Another 3 laps before we get that done. And yet we're almost done half of the grid at the moment here. So a very difficult track, as you can see here, the Baku City Circuit. Not an easy track to be racing on. You gotta just be so careful. Anything can go wrong for a track as narrow as this one here. And of course, very high speed, as you saw with the incident with Nate Smith early on in the session. That was such a high speed crash. I was doing pretty well in the race until that actually happened. So we're on with Tishman now leading the grid behind the safety car, of course. So he is going to be the one getting this race restarted, provided he doesn't take a pit stop at any point here, which I highly doubt he's going to do. Was leading out in front. Previous race leader Smith though in 3rd on soft tires, so he has such a big advantage going on to the restart when that safety car goes in. So I want to see what's going to be the case happening with that there. Okay, so it looks like we're about to get back restarted with this race here as a safety car goes away already. The Red Bull of Tishman, of course, leading to get this race back on the way. And let's see, of course, he is going to be the first one to go. Let's see when he does decide to do that here. So we're having a look at him with the Aston Martin, of course, chasing him and overtaking until they get across at the start finish line. I think he's gone for it there right now as the Aston Martin, of course, going to chase him down into turn 1. Let's see how that battle is going to go. Especially with the midfield SpongeBob very close after the McLaren of Smith there. Runner was going to try for a move on the inside. I think he second guessed that and just put it back behind there in 4th, as they all seem to have got through pretty well. Maybe down at the back there, West gained the position, I think, against Lancer, what we saw happen. Smith with a very close gap and very fresh soft tires, of course, chasing after the Aston Martin of Liam here, so he's definitely trying to get up back into the lead. The Red Bull having some trouble in front of there as the McLaren is squeezed on the inside by the Aston Martin of Liam there. He still holds on to his position there in P3, really trying to get that overtake done, but very difficult here on this track, as you can see. I think he's still pushing on through for that there, as no room left for him to actually work with here, so he's gonna possibly wait until they get around to the sector 3 of the track, which is I think the easiest portion of the track to get an overtake done. A bit of contact between the McLaren and the Aston Martin there causes a spin, so that's gonna be Liam into the wall. The McLaren of Smith, of course, continues on through there into 2nd place. That definitely is going to be investigated by the stewards at the end of this race session there, and possible penalty, or I'm not sure what's going to happen. We'll see what's going to happen, but either way, Smith up into 2nd. Unfortunate incident for Liam. He's now down to 12. SpongeBob now running 3rd, Aiden now running in 4th. Let's see what the gaps are going to be. Aiden currently 4th here in the Mercedes and chasing after SpongeBob out in front. He, of course, is being pressured by Kisiek from behind there in the Alpine as he's trying to go side by side with him and to get a position up here. It looks like it might be an attempt for an overtake down that start finish straight into turn 1. He's on the outside. Can Kisiek get the move done though? It's so close between the two of them, as we can see here. Who gets a better run down to turn 1? But looks like the Mercedes holds the position pretty well. So great defending from Aiden as he gets onto SpongeBob, losing position as he spun around down at the back there. I think he might be out of this race. I'm not sure if he lost his suspension on the right side, but I think he was out of our front wing. Definitely think that happened there. We got 3 drivers into the pits. That's West, Liam, and Hess down at the back of the grid there into the pit lane right now. We might have thought just a yellow flag situation happened with that incident there for the spin with SpongeBob, but I think he's fine. He's still going in the race session here. Still a 2-10 gap between Aiden and Kisiek for 3rd place. Final podium position in this race as we now approach. We're into the halfway point of the race, lap 13 of 26. And we're going to keep this going. Got Smith now back into the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Tishman down to 2nd. Well, up in 2nd, and we got Aiden, of course, into 3rd. Final podium position. He holds on to that and leading against Kisiek there in 4th. Was only about 7 tenths behind, and now trying to defend against Dodgy there in the Alfa Romeo behind of him. Baku coming not too far behind, chased by Lancer here, of course, in the Williams. So it's a side-by-side battle between the two of them as Lancer holds back a bit, settles back into P7. He's just going to chase after the AlphaTauri and hope to find a pretty good overtaking opportunity on track here as they're about to get into sector 3, so it might be a better place to actually attempt this. Let's see what's going to happen in that case though as they continue on through. And of course we got both Williams there, Lancer and Cavalen running in 7th and 8th on track. Pretty close just between the two of them as well as they chase after Kirkut here now down that start finish straight. It's going to be a pretty good run there as the slipstream advantage helps the Williams of Lancer. He's trying to pull alongside though. He's going to be able to pull alongside, see what's going to happen. DRS now back online again after the safety car incident previously with Fitchester and Cape Meister there. So Kirkut holds on to P5, Cavalen 6th, now Lancer down to 7th. So a switch with the Williams there. Ice 1 is now into 7th. Cavalen now down to 9th actually. SpongeBob up ahead of him. So it looks like we might have had some damage on the car now. We had a bit of a spin. So that's definitely affecting his position there on track right now. Going back to Kisiek here, chasing after Aiden, of course. And this now is for 2nd place on the grid. Is what the battle is going to be for. It's now 2nd is where the gap is. So it looks like he is out of that DRS advantage. It's just lost that range. He's trying to get it back here. It's going to be very difficult though. We'll see what's going to happen. Smith out in front, of course, in the McLaren, leading this Grand Prix by 5.6 seconds. You got Aiden running second. Kisiak still in third. Dodger in fourth. Trying to play catch up here with an Alpine. Let's see if he can be able to do it or not. A bit of a gap. The could be behind in fifth. Lancer, of course, not too far off there in sixth. 4/10 is where the gap is. The rest of the grid, a bit of a gap going all the way through. Let's see how this holds on as Aiden, Kisiak, and Dodger fight for second place in the grid here. And Smith, of course, comfortable lead out in front, leading his own race on lap 14 of 26. Looks like we got a triple wave yellow situation again here. That, of course, is another safety car. So something's happened somewhere on track. And I'm not too sure what it is at this point in time here. But yeah, something definitely did happen somewhere. Might have been maybe a car at the back of the grid there. We're down to 13 drivers remaining. Let's see if anyone else is going to be retiring off. I think we see where the incident has happened. I think the car is now back going. Yeah, I think that was an incident to the west possibly, as he's now down to 12. Might have just been as Smith now goes into the pits. Under the safety car, he takes his pit stop. Kisiak did not stop, so he's already into the lead. Lancer didn't stop as well as it seems, as he's now up into second. Smith trying to get back out with a penalty. I think it's a 5-second penalty for across the pit lane, exit a white line, which you cannot do. There's a white line on the exit of the pit lane, which you're not supposed to come over until you reach the end of it, and because you're not supposed to get in the way of racing. That's usually happening on track. But even though it's under a safety car, I think they still get that penalty. So Kisiak leads, Lancer in second, Smith in third with a 5-second penalty now, which definitely will going to affect his race. But we know with the gaps he's been creating in the session so far, he can get back into the lead and get a 5-second gap with a car behind of him. But of course, how many more safety cars will we have in the session? That's definitely affecting his race right now. So he's gonna have to work a strategy around that to finish on a podium here and get a pole position for this Grand Prix. Kisiak, of course, now leading. Lancer second. Smith on going to be on fresh tires, of course, still with that penalty though. We'll see what's gonna happen. Tishman running in fourth. Dodger 5th, Baku 6 as well, 8 and 7, Cabal in 8, Ice 1 9th, SpongeBob 10, Liam 11, West 12, Hess in 13th. That's our 13 drivers currently racing here in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix that's remaining anyway. We've lost Fake Saucer and Cape Meister both at the same time. Naismith lost on his own incident. Biology, Mini Plats, and Goofy lost somewhere around lap 1 to 2 of this race session. Okay, so here we go. So restart after the safety car again. We're having here, so on lap 16, about to go into lap 17. The Siak, of course, leading on this restart as they get back going here down that start finish straight. Lancer in second, got Smith in third. There's only a 10 behind Lancer. Is he going to be alongside him into turn one? Almost alongside him. A bit of contact between them as the McLaren loses it. He tries to keep it out to the wall. He does keep it out of the wall, but loses the position down to 6 on the grid right now, along with his 5-second penalty that he still currently has, and tries to get it back going again. It's now a 3:10 gap here to the car in front. That's Kirkut and Cavalin, of course, chasing after him. West into the pits there once again for whatever's happened to his car out on track. Out in front, KCX still leading this race there against the Williams of Lancer behind him. It's a 4:10 gap. He didn't get a good getaway on that safety car restart because he has that Williams so close up to his rear there. And definitely that Williams of Lancer looking for an overtake here to try and get into the lead of this race, and it looks like it might just happen as he's really trying to push alongside him to go side by side. Not able to get that done as yet with not enough room on track. I don't think he's definitely going to be able to pull this off as you get over into sector 3 because there's going to be so much straight on the track. The slipstream advantage down that start finish rate is insane here at Azerbaijan. So yeah, so definitely looking at a possible overtake into turn 1 of the next lap there as they continue the battle right now. The Williams pushing as much as he can. Gap is still so close, only 2/10 and under 2/10 actually as they go on through. Dodger, of course, coming close by behind. Let's see if Kisiek can hold on to the lead that he currently has there. And now into sector 3 as fast paced as they get on through this. You can see the Williams pushing as much as he can. The slipstream advantage doesn't seem to be as strong as we expected. He's trying to push on through. The Alpine, of course, using everything he has here to keep that car out in front. And looks like he's done a pretty good job of it because he's kept the lead. And of course, we got triple wave yellow. Something's happened. Kirkwood is out to the race session. And let's see where is West on track here as he gets around here right now. We should have a look at what happens to the other. Oh man, he is out, so that's the next AlphaTauri out of the session. West, the only AlphaTauri remaining in the race right now. Got quite a few drivers into the pits there right now under that safety car that just happened. Got Kisiek back into the lead, well, holding on to the lead actually of this race. Lancer still running second. Dodger is up in the third, Aiden running fourth, Liam in fifth, SpongeBob 6th, Cavalin in 7th, West 8th, Ice 1 in 9th, Smith in 10th, Tishman 11th, Hess in 12th there. I know it was a Kirkwood. Following that last safety car is now out of this session here, so we're down to 12 drivers from 19 remaining in the race session for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix here with NOMEX racing towards the division. Still kind of an interesting race session so far as we had it. A lot of battles to follow on through as we keep getting these safety car restarts going through as well. Aiden there, pretty close gap to him and the Alfa Romeo in front of him, the Dodger there. He should be able to get back racing as quickly as possible. I don't think that instance with Kirkwood left too much debris on track there. So hopefully maybe we'll do one more lap under the safety car before we get back racing. That's going to put us into lap 20 to get back racing, I assume here, which I think is where it's going to be. Of course, we did have an extended session here today, just with the safety cars. Does just extend the time for the full qualifying race session just a little bit, but still has been quite an interesting session. Smith, the only driver right now with a penalty. Of course, it is a 5-second penalty that he currently has. That car is trying to catch up back to each other here right now under that safety car key, just hoping that this is our final lap under the safety car for this portion. Now, Hess gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the safety car, which you cannot do. That drive-through penalty, of course, really hurting these drivers for positions here on track. 3 more drivers into the pits right now. Positions, of course, readjusting on track as we get on the way still with their safety car going on lap 19 here at the moment. We'll know if we're going to get back racing as we get into sector 3 to go into the next lap. But I assume we'll probably go one more lap maybe. We're going to have to possibly finish off lap 20, or maybe at the end of this lap we should be able to get back racing. Let's have a look at what's going to happen. Okay, so intersector 3 on lap 19. Doesn't look like we're gonna go back racing because I don't think we got any notification from race control regarding that. So it looks like we're doing one more lap on the safety car. That's gonna put us into lap 21 to get the race restarted. Restarted on lap 21. Let's see what's gonna happen in that case. Everyone is still running behind the safety car. I think we have majority of the cars though have caught up to the safety car queue. We got just I think 2 McLarens and a Haas down in the back. Ice 1, Hess and Smith are yet to catch up to the safety car queue, so they should be able to do that before we get a race restarted on this current lap here. So at the end of lap 20 going to lap 21 is where we should be able to get our race restarted again. In the meanwhile, guys, once again, welcome to everyone that's joining us live here on the stream. Thank you guys for joining on. Really do appreciate you guys doing that. Please make sure you guys are following us here on Twitch. Make sure you guys subscribe to us on YouTube, as well as edited version of this race session will be up on the YouTube channel as soon as we finish the live stream here on our Twitch channel, which is the way we're doing it right about now. So yeah, make sure you guys are supporting us on both ends. Currently no Facebook streams, we're just doing Twitch and YouTube at the moment. So live streams on Twitch, and then the race portion of the session uploaded straight up to YouTube just after this, because we're trying to record a backup version in case anything goes wrong on our streams end. We did the last race session, worked out pretty well, so we're going to try it on this one and a few more, and just still experimenting with a few things here. So so far so good on what you got going on. And of course still sending things up here on Twitch as well, so do excuse me on that front. Okay, so finally there we go. We got the notification from race control. We are about to get back racing on the next lap incoming. Wes, I did not see a message yet. I'm gonna check that. Where's that in Discord? I'm assuming. I'll have a look at that at the end of the stream. Just let me know in Discord what it is. I'm not sure. I don't think I saw the suggestion as yet. So, or did I? I honestly don't remember. I'll have to have a look at it. Anyway, let's get back with the restart here happening right now as Kisiek gets back out in front. A pretty good restart from him, as we do have Lancer and Dodger side by side. We're trying to go side by side as they get into turn 1. So far, so good. From you can see Dodger, of course, being chased by Liam. They're 6/10 behind Cavalli, of course, in that battle, along with Aiden and West getting through. Let's see how well it's going down in the back in the midfield here, actually, with these drivers at the moment. So Aiden, of course, 310, now 210s behind Cavalli. As we can see, West and Tishman coming just behind of that. Hess is out of the session, Smith out of the session. Unfortunate for what's happened there. That's happened somewhere in turn 1. I'm not sure. Did the McLarens take each other out of the race? We're down to 10 drivers now remaining as the Mercedes of Aiden chases after that, as Martin has a major incident with them there. So something's happened along with Liam and Aiden. Not sure exactly what happened there, but to see some serious sort of incident has caused a lot of damage on track. I'm quite surprised that wasn't actually a full safety car there. As you can see, the Williams they are running without a front wing. The Mercedes running without a front wing. Got West now up into 5th. Has his front wing intact, so he's going to try to gain some advantage out of this here and just continue on through as it is. Kisiek still leading the Grand Prix right now. Lancer there in 2nd. Dodger still running 3rd. Cavan, of course, now running 4th. West now running 5th. Aiden down to 6th. Ison running 7th. Liam, of course, now down to 8th after that incident with the Mercedes. And, of course, I'm quite sure that's going to be investigated down at the end of the session. So on job, we got him in 9th, and Tishman running in... Oh, Tishman is out of the race. And he's retired from the session. It looks like something's happened down there in Sector 2, just before the entry of Sector 3. Contra might have an incident there as well. I think he's slowed down a bit. He's trying to get back going. The Mercedes of Aiden trying to get in the middle of two cars here going through. So it's West, Aiden, and Kavalan trying to fight for a position. First, I think we got two of them into the pits. That's Kavalan and Aiden into the pits there. West continues out into P4. It's a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. That goes to Aiden in the Mercedes. Unfortunate for the Mercedes driver here, as he's the only one of his team left on track as well. So a bit of commotion down in the midfield at the moment. As we have it now, Kisiek now still leading. Of course, not by the biggest of margin though. It's only a 4-10 gap towards Lancer, who's chasing after him. Dodger, of course, chasing just behind that by another 6/10. West has about 3.2 seconds to catch up to the top three out in front. If he wants to put this car onto a podium position by the end of this race, we're on up 22 of 26. So really not a long time to get this done. 4.5 laps are going to remain here in the Azerbaijan Grand Prix for NOMEX Racing. Thursday division. Let's see where the driver's going to be at the end of this. And there goes the Williams side by side with the Alpine, really trying to get by here. Can he get the overtake done? Doesn't seem like he's going to get it done as yet. As he gets through castle section, has to just hold it back through on the racing line. And we do have Dodgers following on through. He is within DR's advantage. Well, I think that should be coming online back if it hasn't already. I think we're going to keep the battle out in front, as this might get a bit interesting going into lap 23 with these two. That slipstream advantage should be going towards the Williams here, along with the DRS advantage. If it like again, if that is back online, I didn't even notice if it's back online as yet. But either way, I think the slipstream advantage should be just enough what he actually needs to get that overtake done, as we're on the board right now with Lance. So let's see how close can he get to Kisiek down the start in the straight. Looks like the Alpine using everything he has. He has some serious straight line speed and some just a big advantage. And there DRS is now back online, going down that straight there. So the straight line speed of the Alpine is unmeasurable compared to the Williams right about now, because Lancer is getting nowhere. He's actually losing time down that straight. It's now 1.3 seconds where the gap is between him and Kisiek. So looks like Kisiek stands a pretty good chance of actually winning this Grand Prix here today, if he continues with what's going on. Dodger, of course, 4/10 behind Lancer and a bit of a closer gap, so he might try for an advantage, maybe getting up into P2 in this race if he can. And we got West 2.4 seconds behind. He's gained over a second now, at least a second. He's gained, and he's really trying to catch up to the top three. Does he have enough laps left though to be able to catch up and get out in front? At least get up into the top three, into P3. Let's have a quick look at Liam here, and yes, Martin, of course, had an incident earlier on. He's lost the left end plate on the front wing, as we can see there. So yeah, a bit of a effect with the downforce in the car going to be affecting that performance on his Aston Martin just a bit, as he does have Ice One chasing after him within DRS range. Of course, he is within DRS range of West in front of him, so yeah, does put him at a bit of an advantage without trying to keep Ice One out of his DRS range. So let's see what's happening as the Aston Martin looking for an overtake here. We got Lance out in front, 6/10 is where the gap is, as they're heading back into sector 3 right about now. Let's see what the gap is going to be at the end of turn 1, because it is where Kisiek is now down to second. Something's happened. For some reason, the Alpine has lost the lead, and it looks like he's going to get it back though, because as he said, the straight line speed advantage is so much more compared to that of the Williams. As he gets back out in front, continues on with the lead into the next lap there. As into lap 24 we go right now. Lancer back down to second, Dodger running third still, Liam running in fourth still, West is now down to fifth. The Aston Martin has gained the position here against the AlphaTauri. He is now up into fourth. West is going to try to keep up on him as much as he can. Ice One for 6, Kavan still running 7. Aiden currently 8 at the moment, of course, with a penalty that he has. And it looks like he's going to have to finish the race with that penalty. We started off with 19 drivers. Unfortunate to see we're only down to 8 to finish up this Grand Prix, but still a very difficult track here. But we have the Baku City circuit. Of course, another street circuit down the calendar, so always a bit difficult with these street circuits to get through. So the gap out in front, still keeping under a half a second right now, as Lancer is now 3/10 behind. Kisiek is of course still fighting for the lead right now, guys, and I think he's gonna have to find some sort of advantage to use against the Alpine down that start finish straight, because it's where I think he's losing the time, because for some reason I'm not sure the Alpine has so much more straight line speed compared to the Williams. Just depends on the setup of the car, but yes, it has been going pretty well between the two of them. Interesting battle that we have. Darcher there trying to keep up with Liam, who's now up into third. He's fought his way through the field. He's up into third. Started a pretty good position, but let's see if he can get back to that. It's only a 10th between these two as they go on through right about now. Lancer, of course, really hoping to get his overtake done with. Is down back now to 2 tenths, back now to 3 tenths, 4 tenths, and it's just losing time down that straight. So he doesn't have the advantage at all to try and get past the Alpine on that straight. He has to get it done at some other point on track, and he has to just hold it all through in the final lap when you get around to that there, which is going to be on the next lap there. We're currently on the penultimate lap. There are 25 laps into this race so far. Be into the final lap in just a bit. But definitely an interesting race session from start to finish. Unfortunately, was quite a few safety cars in the session, but you know, it does happen with tracks like the Baku City Circuit. Or as we have it still running, KCX still leading this race against Lancer 1.2 seconds. He now has him out of DRS advantage, which is going to make things a little worse for the Williams driver here. He might have to just settle for a second place finish on the podium here. Liam, of course, looking to get himself third place finish on the podium from where he started, and of course I think it's still going to be a decent finish for him. I think he's trying to get up to second if he can. It's still a 2-second gap with just a lap and a half or a lap and a quarter remaining, so really not a lot of time to actually get that done. At least you can break the gap down pretty quickly. West there, pretty close gap with him and Dodgy here as he's definitely trying to get past. Can he get his overtake done? What's the speed advantage down that straight there on sector 3 is what we're going to see right about now. Looks like Dodger was ghosted for just a second. I'm not sure what happened. Maybe he got disconnected. I guess went back on, but he was ghosted for just a second. Whereas of course now going to chase after the Alfa Romeo, really trying to get his overtake done. Let's see if the sleeping advantage, maybe with the DRS advantage, is going to be enough for him to try for a side-by-side move into turn 1 here. Is what he might have to do. He does seem to be gaining a little bit of ground here, but he's going to be close enough into turn 1 to try for an overtake. He's getting there and he's getting there, but he's going to have to just keep it on the outside as they get it on turn 1. It's only a 10th between him and Dodger, of course, for that position at P4 out in front. Everything stays the same as it is. I'm following on with these two on the final lap here of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix for NOMEX Racing Thursday Division drivers. Has been quite an exciting session. We got these two going side by side as West tries to get up into P4. Can he get it done on the inside of the Alfa Romeo, and he gets it moved done quite impressively, I might add. And of course the Alfa Romeo trying to get it back around the outside, blocked out by the AlphaTauri, didn't get to get the move done. Still going to follow him on through on the final lap. So we do have West has a bit of work to do on this attempt here to try and keep P4 and get across the line for it. He has to just avoid penalties and just keep the car in front of the Alfa Romeo at the moment, which can be a bit difficult just depending on how close the gap is going to get. It's something as though he's extending it a bit right now. Getting on through. Looks like the Mercedes for Aiden is having some trouble on track there. I think he might be stuck there somewhere in sector 3. Still be able to finish the race P8 as he gets across the line, but either way, Okurku's led the session. So still down to 8 drivers to finish off. I think we're going to follow on with our race leader out in front. And there we go with the Alpine. Pushing on as much as he can. It's a 6-10 gap with him and Lancer. Of course, you know, he has the advantage down that start finish straight. Great view of the Baku City Circuit there. And there we go with the Alpine getting across the line, and he takes an impressive win here at Azerbaijan. And of course, Liam gets across, takes second place on the podium in the Aston Martin. Lancer there takes third place on the podium. Not too bad finish at the top 3. We got West about to get across the line here for P4. Still an impressive finish for him. Dodger is going to get across the line to take P5. When he does get across, of course, we have Kavala behind him for P6. Ice 1 should be taking P7, provided things stay as it is right at the moment. Aiden taking P8. The rest of our drivers, unfortunately, could not finish the race session. We started off 19, finished with 8. Still not a bad race session. Overall, was quite an impressive race session. A lot of really good battles in that session as well. Let's see who got the driver of the day on this one here. It looks like Tishman got the driver of the day on to finish the race either way. But yeah, just looking at the again, just calculated by positions. Let's have a quick look at the results before we close off this race session stream here. Okay, so there we have it, the results here for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix here. Guys, you see they're taking a win in the Alpine here at this track, so quite an impressive win as well. Started 5th on the grid. Yep, there Liam there finishing 2nd on the podium, Lancer finishing 3rd on the podium. We got West taking 4th on the grid, got Dodger finishing 5th. Got Cavalin finishing 6th, Ice One is 7th, Aiden of course finishing 8th, and those are 8 drivers that actually finished the race session here. Unfortunate for the rest of the drivers who could not finish, but it is what it is, and of course that was a pretty impressive race session to watch. So once again guys, thanks to everyone who joined on to the race session live to watch this race. So let's hope you guys enjoy the commentary. Please give us a follow here on Twitch, and make sure you guys subscribe to us on YouTube. This race session will be uploaded then in about 2 hours time, so do keep an eye out for that, and do give us a like on YouTube there as well. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Appreciate you guys. I'll see you guys here on Twitch for the next stream tomorrow at should be about 7:30 UK time, will be about 2:30 Eastern Standard Time for me. So I'll see you guys there on that session. Thank you guys for joining the ring.